Hello, I'm Dr. Juhi Singh, professor in Department of Botany, Deen Dayal Upadhyay, Government PG College, Saidabad, Prayagraj. Here, I am going to deliver a short lecture on the endomembrane system of eukaryotic cell. Now, first of all, let me introduce you to the cell, to the word cell. What is cell? Cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. It means that all the living beings are made up entirely of cell, inside which all the functional aspects of life are going. Functional aspects of life are going means all the kind of metabolic activities are occurring inside the cell. All the living organisms are made up of cell, and the cells are of two kinds, namely the prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell. The prokaryotic cell is considered to be the primitive type of cell. Here I have not displayed the diagram about the prokaryotic cell. And the eukaryotic cell is an advanced cell where we get the membrane-bound organelles inside the cell. It has nucleus and all the membrane-bound organelles present into it. They exist in animals, plants, fungi, protists, and its character includes it has a true nucleus present inside the cell, which is bound by the nuclear membrane. It is also double membrane, which is equivalent to the plasma membrane of the cell. The nucleus is surrounded by the another cellular organelle, endoplasmic reticulum, which are of two kinds, the rough endoplasmic reticulum and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Then again are present the another membrane-bound organelle, the Golgi apparatus, vacuoles, lysosomes, mitochondria, peroxisomes, chloroplasts, and these all the cellular organelles are present inside the cytoplasm of the cell. On the other hand, the prokaryotic cell is lacking any kind of membrane-bound organelles. It means the membrane-bound organelles are wanting in the case of prokaryotic cell. Even there is an absence of true nucleus in the prokaryotic cell. Now coming on to the endomembrane system of the eukaryotic cell. The term is quite interesting, and you can see the diagram of the endomembrane system displayed here. The membrane system inside the cell includes the organelles, namely the endoplasmic reticulum, secondly the Golgi bodies, lysosomes, vesicles, and vacuoles. These organelles together form the endomembrane system of the cell. These organelles, they work together in a very coordinated way, and is considered to be the trafficking network of the eukaryotic cell. Here you can see in this diagram, this is the nucleus of the cell. This is the nucleus of the cell, and the nucleus is a double membrane bound structure. Nucleus is a double membrane bound structure. Let me introduce you to this, that there are two kinds of membrane bound organelles which are found inside the cell. Number one, double membrane bound organelles, and secondly, single membrane bound organelle. Chloroplast, mitochondria, nucleus. These are the double membrane bound structures. And endoplasmic reticulum, here you can see the endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, and then the lysosomes, vacuoles. These are the organelles which are actually single bound, means they have a delimiting layer which is only one. Like if you study about the chloroplast, see, if you see the chloroplast, it has a double membrane. Similarly, the mitochondria, it has also a double membrane like this. These have two membrane, like the outer membrane and the inner membrane. The chloroplast also has an outer membrane and the inner membrane. But in the case of endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, vacuoles and lysosomes, they have only single membrane. Even the nucleus also is having two membranes. The inner nuclear membrane, this is the inner nuclear membrane, and this one is the outer nuclear membrane. Now, coming to the first component, endoplasmic reticulum of the endoplasmic membrane system. We will study about its general morphology and functions. The first micrograph of endoplasmic reticulum showed a lace-like arrangement of tubules not reaching the periphery of the cell. It was first identified in 1897 by Garnier by using light microscopy, and he called this reticular structure as ergatoplasm. Later on, in 1945, Keith R. Porter, Albert Claude, and Ernst F. Fullman imaged the endoplasmic reticulum by using electron microscopy. And later on, Porter coined the term reticulum in 1953, and it was then described as endoplasmic reticulum, then named as endoplasmic reticulum. Now you can see this is a diagram taken from the textbook of cell biology written by D. Robertis. It is a very famous, a very popular book studied by the students in the UG and PG programs. This diagram is taken from there. You can see the three-dimensional endomembrane system of the cell. You can see here the nucleus. This is the nucleus in the center, and this one is the outer membrane of the nucleus. This one is the outer membrane of the nucleus, the nuclear envelope. This is the inner membrane of the nucleus. This is the interchromatin channels you can see, which are leading to the nuclear pore. These are the nuclear pores. And the outer membrane of the nucleus is continuous with the membrane, the single membrane of the endoplasmic reticulum. This is the rough endoplasmic reticulum displayed in this figure. These are the Golgi complex, lysosomes you can see. Now coming on to the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum is togetherly made up of cisternae, vesicles and tubules. It has a series of convoluted flattened membrane sheets called the cisternae. These you can see, these are the cisternae, and onto the walls of the cisternae are attached ribosomes. Here, 80S ribosomes are attached on the wall of the rough endoplasmic reticulum. 80S ribosomes are actually found in the eukaryotic cells. These are attached on the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So rough endoplasmic reticulum is made up of by the combination of flattened sac-like structures which are known as cisternae, and onto the wall of this cisternae are attached the ribosomes which are 80S type. Its surface contains ribosomes which are held together by the microtubules of cytoskeleton. The microtubule polymerization leads to the change in the rough endoplasmic reticulum morphology. Ribosomes are not constantly attached on the surface. Let me tell you that the ribosomes which are attached on the wall of the rough endoplasmic reticulum are also considered to be the site of protein synthesis inside the cell. Now, after the synthesis of the protein, you can see here the lumens of the cisternae. You can see here the spaces. After the polypeptide chain is being synthesized, it gets dropped into these cisternal spaces. The vesicles are actually the oval membrane bound vacuolar structures, and they remain isolated in the cytoplasm and occur in most of the cells, but especially the vesicles are they are abundantly found in the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Now coming on to the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. As this name is describing smooth endoplasmic reticulum, it is smooth because you can see in this diagram there are no ribosomes attached onto the wall of the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and that's why the name comes smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Let me also tell you that since the ribosomes are attached on the rough endoplasmic reticulum, the ribosomes onto this are the major site of the protein synthesis, and smooth endoplasmic reticulum is not participating in any kind of protein synthesis programs of the cell. Now, the primary difference between the rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum is that rough endoplasmic reticulum is studded with the ribosomes, making it essential for the protein synthesis and modification, while smooth endoplasmic reticulum lacks ribosomes and specializes in the lipid synthesis, detoxification, and calcium storage. Secondly, the rough endoplasmic reticulum has its membrane continuous to the outer nuclear membrane of the cell, whereas the smooth endoplasmic reticulum is not sharing its membrane to the nucleus. Now, functions of endoplasmic reticulum. Functions of smooth endoplasmic reticulum include lipid metabolism, both catabolism and anabolism. They synthesize a variety of phospholipids, cholesterol, and steroids. Then glycogenolysis, that is the degradation of glycogen. Glycogen is being polymerized in cytosol. Drug detoxification, this occurs by the help of cytochrome P450. It provides an ultrastructural skeletal framework to the cell and gives a mechanical support to the colloidal cytoplasmic matrix. Exchange of molecules by the process of osmosis, diffusion, and active transport occurs through the membranes of the endoplasmic reticulum. It is the main component of the endomembrane system. Let me mark this. The endoplasmic reticulum is the main component of the endomembrane system, and it is also called as the cytoplasmic reticular system or cytocavity network. The endoplasmic membranes contain many enzymes that perform various synthetic and metabolic activities. Further, it provides an increased surface for the various enzymatic reactions. It also acts as an intracellular circulatory or the transporting system, as the name endomembrane system indicates. As a growing secretory polypeptide emerges from the ribosomes which are attached onto the wall of the rough endoplasmic reticulum, it passes through the rough endoplasmic reticulum membrane and gets accumulated in the lumen of the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Here the polypeptide chain undergoes tailoring, maturation and molecular folding to form functional secondary or tertiary protein molecules. Once the polypeptide chain is formed, it has to be further modified into the secondary, tertiary and quaternary structures. And this all happens inside the lumen of the rough endoplasmic reticulum. It pinches off tiny protein-filled vesicles which get fused to the cis phase of Golgi apparatus. The endoplasmic reticulum membranes also participate in forming new nuclear envelope after each nuclear division. Now coming to the function of smooth endoplasmic reticulum, it contains several key enzymes that catalyze the synthesis of cholesterol, which is also a precursor substance for the biosynthesis of two types of compounds, the steroid hormones and the bile acids. Rough endoplasmic reticulum also synthesize membrane proteins, glycoproteins, which are translationally inserted into the rough endoplasmic membrane. Thus, it is the site of biogenesis of cellular membranes. Now, coming to the another important component, second most important component of the endomembrane system. The first one was the endoplasmic reticulum, and another most important component is the Golgi bodies or the Golgi apparatus. We will talk about its structure and function. The Golgi bodies or apparatus, it was observed in 1897 by Camillo Golgi. He identified an internal reticular apparatus which came to be known as Golgi apparatus, and in 1950s when electron microscope came into use, the existence of Golgi apparatus was confirmed. Now this you can see the diagram, the picture of Golgi apparatus. It has three, it is a polarized structure. Polarized structure means it is having three phases, the cis phase, then the median part or the middle part is the medial phase, and the phase you can see here, this one is the trans phase. The cis phase is facing the endoplasmic reticulum, and the cis phase is also considered to be the receiving phase. The receiving phase means whatever the vesicles or the proteins which are released from the endoplasmic reticulum are then accepted on the cis phase of the Golgi apparatus. Then all the processing and modification, labeling, packaging, etc. is done into the medial phase. is done into the medial phase, and then that vesicle goes down towards the trans phase, from where it is budded out, to, into the cytoplasm, and then carried away to the desired destination of the cell. Cisternae, now the Golgi complex are made up of flattened sacs, sac-like or disc-shaped sacs known as cisternae, and they run parallel to each other, and they are found near the endoplasmic reticulum. They may also be found next to the nuclear, outer nuclear envelope region. It has cis and trans polarization. The cis phase is near the endoplasmic reticulum and it is convex, and medial is the central layer of the cisternae. Trans one is the concave cisternae and is farthest from the endoplasmic reticulum. The fused vesicles with protein or lipid migrate through the trafficking compartment, the vesicular tubular cluster, and vesicles that fuse with the cis membrane, and contents are delivered into the cisternae. Here you can see the diagram. This is the rough endoplasmic reticulum. You can see it may also be smooth endoplasmic reticulum, because lipid metabolism takes place in the lipid metabolism formation. This all takes place in the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and the protein synthesis occurs inside the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and from where it is transferred through the vesicles. You can see these rounded structures. These rounded structures are the vesicles, and they are coming out of the endoplasmic reticulum. These are packed with some kinds of lipid, cholesterol, or protein, and they are going to fuse onto the cis phase, which is a bit convex phase of the cisternae of the Golgi apparatus. This is entirely the Golgi apparatus, and this one is this cisternae is very far away from the endoplasmic reticulum and is known as the trans Golgi. So you can clearly see the cis and trans polarization of the Golgi complex here in this diagram. The functions of Golgi bodies. The vesicles from the Golgi bodies form lysosomes. After packing the entire material, whatever is being made into the Golgi complex or packaged into, labeled into it, is coming out from the trans phase of the Golgi complex, and later on it is going to form the lysosomes. So as I have already told you, that the processing of the protein or the processing of the lipid is done inside the Golgi complex. Processing is required because those structures are being formed inside, that is get received by the endoplasmic reticulum, is in its raw form, and here it has to be processed for distribution. So processing, after that glycosylation is done. Glycosylation is adding certain kinds of sugar onto the heads of those synthesized structure. Then it is packed, it is labeled, and then it finally those lipids or the proteins or whatever being the thing was manufactured there has to be taken to the desired destination of the cell. So these are the major functions of the Golgi bodies, which is considered to be very important into the endomembrane system. Now, next to the Golgi bodies is another important endomembrane system component, known as lysosomes. Lysosomes are considered to be the suicidal bags of the cell. They are very rich in the hydrolytic enzymes, and it is also a single membrane bound organelle which is rich in the hydrolytic enzymes and are synthesized by the rough endoplasmic reticulum and transferred to the Golgi bodies. Its main function is degrading the molecules which are taken up by the endocytosis digestion, breaking things apart, and hence known as the suicidal bag of the cell. They have the capability of digesting the entire cell. The types of lysosomes, we can clearly see the polymorphism in the structure of the lysosomes, and there are, on the basis of the structure of lysosomes, they are of 4 types: the primary lysosome, the secondary lysosome, autophagosomes, and the residual bodies. The primary lysosomes arise from the transphase of the Golgi body vesicles and carry inactivated enzymes into it. See, these are the Golgi bodies. These are coming, the things are coming into the vesicle-like structure. This is the primary lysosome here. Then the secondary lysosome is a structure where the phagosome fuse with the primary lysosome. What is the phagosome? The phagosome is this, actually, when the cell membrane gets engulfed with some kind of solid particle, it forms the phagosome. It gets into the cytoplasm of the cell, where it fuses with the primary lysosome, and then as a result of which the secondary lysosome is formed. The residual bodies. Some secondary lysosome contain undigested material which has to be thrown out by the cell vomiting process or by the exocytosis process. Some of the material are sent out, but not all the material can be drained out of the cell, and some of it remains inside that lysosome structure and is known as residual body. It forms a kind of pigment known as lipofuscin, which is a brown aging pigment. Then the last one, another one is the autophagosome. Autophagosome is related to autophagy, or the self-eating process. See, when some organelles or some kind of internal cellular structure die, they need to be removed from the cell. And this thing is done, the dead organelles or the dead substances are eaten by the autophagosomes, and there the entire content is being digested. Autophagic mechanism is done to digest the old remains of the organelles or other cellular contents. Now coming on to the last component of the endomembrane system, and these are the vacuoles. Vacuole is also a single membrane bound organelle which is very large and prominent in the plant cell and occupy almost 90% of the cell space. These are bubble-like sacs which are bound with a membrane known as tonoplast. The fluid within the tonoplast or the sac is known as the cell sap. It maintains the turgidity or the tonicity of the plant cell, and the vacuole is also rich in the flowering pigment anthocyanin, and it is stored there. Many kinds of ions are also stored there, and sugar, the excretory product, the cell sap, these all are stored inside the vacuole of the cell, and you can say that it is a kind of a temporary storehouse of the cell. Its function is to maintain the tonicity of the cell, and it works against the concentration gradient of the cell, and there is involvement of the active transport, and large amount of energy is being utilized in the case of active transport mechanism. And vacuole also generates the turgor pressure of the cell. Now, thank you with this. And the images in this PowerPoint presentation has been taken from NCBI Literature Bookshelf, Cell and Molecular Biology 8th edition by D. Robert Tees, and Biology Reader. Thank you.